So for that, we will look at an effective ethics program. Okay, so because an ethics program can help avoid legal problems, companies may face penalties, and the loss of public confidence is if one of their employees breaks the law. Okay, so it is there are a lot of cases when employees they conduct unethical behavior, even not on behalf of the company, but because, for example, at the time when they perpetrated the unethical behavior, they were wearing company uniforms, corporate clothes, that people can see the company name, and that will tarnish the image of the company, even though the employee wasn't acting on behalf of the company. Okay, so and because of that, companies may face penalties, because when brought to court, it could probably be shown that the company, that the act was perpetrated on behalf of the company. Federal sentencing guidelines for organizations encourages companies to assess key risk areas and customize a compliance program. It is important to monitor and weigh the risk of third-party suppliers and or business partners. At the heart of the SGO is a carrot and stick philosophy. Okay, so carrot and stick meaning reward and punishment. Okay, so um, so FSGO gives a reward by where it allows companies to avoid penalties if the company prevents misconduct by establishing or enforcing ethical and legal compliance programs. Generally, if companies have already established or have already conducted ethical programs, and yet there are ethical misconducts perpetrated by members of the organization, the employees, the amount of penalty that will be imposed on the company will be reduced, because it has been shown that the company has made the effort to inculcate ethical behavior among the employees. It's just that they may have some rogue employees that just uh, are beyond control. Okay, so they do reward companies that implemented um, um, ethical programs, but despite their uh, execution of the ethical program, there were still employees that um, conduct unethical actions. Okay, so they are given the reward is in terms of reduction in penalties, or even no penalties at all. Okay, however, if a company is there were wrongdoings done by employees of the organization, and it was found that the company has not even tried to inculcate ethical values by having an ethic program, then the company will definitely be charged with some penalties. Okay, so that is the stick. Okay, they will be fined, and the companies may be put on probation or not being allowed to operate for a certain period of time in the market. Okay, so carrot and stick approach. If you have an ethics program, then you will be rewarded by not being charged a penalty if any wrongdoing is done by your employees. And the stick is that if you do not have any compliance program, and something happens, then you will be penalized. So here are some of the minimum requirements for an ethics on compliance program. First is to establish standards and procedures to prevent or detect criminal conduct. So there must be some standards or procedures. Okay, ethical standards and procedures. And secondly, ensure the firm's board, top management, and high-level personnel exercise reasonable oversight of those standards and procedures. Okay, so first we need to have a standard. Secondly, there must be top management that that monitors the standards. Okay, that looks at how employees follow the standards. Thirdly, make reasonable efforts to keep individuals whom organizations knew and should have known to have engaged in illegal activities out of key positions. Okay, so the third thing organizations need to do is remove those persons that they are confident are unethical people. Do not put unethical people on high positions in the company, at least. Okay. Fourth, communicate standards and procedures by training directors, employees, and appropriate agents. Okay, so in number 1, we establish standards, but number 4, we need to communicate those standards. Okay, how do we communicate? We have a training program. Okay, we conduct our training regarding ethical training with directors, employees, and agents. Fifth, monitor and audit the program to detect criminal conduct. Okay, so do monitoring. Okay, do monitoring. Evaluate the program periodically. So not only do we conduct the ethical program, but we also evaluate its effectiveness, and have a system for reporting suspected violations. And if we establish a proper system or procedure where if there is any misconduct, there is a proper way of handling of submitting complaints regarding the misconducts. Number 6, promote and consistently enforce the program through appropriate incentives and appropriate discipline. Okay, so not only we have the standards, we have the whole program, and that program is enforced through some incentive. Number 7, after criminal conduct is detected, take reasonable steps to respond appropriately and prevent further similar criminal conduct, including necessary modification to the ethics and compliance program. So if there is any criminal or any unethical behavior that happens, then we need to respond appropriately, and then do modifications to our ethics program. Probably there are some areas that could be improved in the ethics program that may help reduce or even prevent from the actual unethical behavior from happening. So an effective ethics programs, we should have the value-based programs, and as a minimum we should have a compliance program. So in an ethics program that have a compliance orientation, it should have a control system that creates order by requiring employees to identify with and commit to specific required conduct. Okay, so there's a it says these are the things. It specifies, okay, employees should do these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Okay, there are requirements that they need to fulfill. Okay, that's a compliance orientation. But a values orientation is more on the characteristics, on the values, on the qualities. Okay, so it is a control system that strives to develop shared values, gives employees a clearly defined basis on which to make decisions. So in a values orientation, it is the ethics program is more about inculcating values, inculcating qualities within the employee, so that when they are facing any ethical dilemma or issues, they will make the right decision because they already have that quality or that value in themselves. Okay, so that is a more a value oriented ethics program, as opposed to the compliance oriented ethics program. But both type programs can interact or work towards the same end. Okay, but a value oriented program has the added benefit of sparking ethical reasoning among employees. Okay, so the value oriented the advantage of the value oriented program is that they will have an embedded in them the reasoning, the thinking capability to decide what whether an action is ethical or not. Whereas the compliance program is just more procedural and more uh, yeah, more action based. Um, if you have a list of things you need to do, you do it, and then you are fine. But what if something occurs that is not within the list? What do you do? Okay, so you do need to have values instilled in you in order to uh, make you capable in making ethical decisions.